What if the air you are breathing right now only exists inside a window so narrow that shifting it by 5 percentage points in either direction ends all complex life on Earth forever? Right now, the atmosphere surrounding this planet contains exactly 20.9% oxygen. Not 15, not 25, exactly 20.9. That number is not a coincidence. That number is a knife edge. And every living thing on this planet exists only because that number has held, with remarkable stability, for approximately 540 million years. This is the oxygen window. And once you understand what holds it open, you will never breathe the same way again. The window has a floor. Drop atmospheric oxygen below 15% and something catastrophic happens. Not to your lungs first, but to fire. Fire requires a minimum oxygen concentration to sustain itself. Below 15%, combustion becomes impossible. Wood will not burn. Spark will not catch. Controlled fire, the single technology that separated human civilization from everything else, vanishes entirely. No fire means no cooking. No cooking means no caloric extraction from raw food sufficient to fuel a large brain. Neuroscientists estimate that cooking increased the caloric yield of food by 30 to 40%. Without that surplus, the human brain, which consumes 20% of your entire body's energy while representing only 2% of your mass, could never have grown to its current size. No fire also means no metallurgy. No metallurgy means no tools, no agriculture, no engines, no electricity, no technology of any kind. Below 15% oxygen, intelligent civilization is thermodynamically impossible. Not difficult. Impossible. The window has a ceiling. Now go the other direction. Raise atmospheric oxygen above 25% and the planet does not become more hospitable. It becomes a furnace. At 25% oxygen, the ignition threshold for organic material drops so dramatically that a single lightning strike does not start a localized fire. It starts a continental firestorm. Forests do not burn in patches. They burn completely. Wet wood burns. Living tissue burns. Fossil records from periods when atmospheric oxygen reached approximately 30% during the late Carboniferous period around 300 million years ago show evidence of global charcoal deposits across entire continents. The planet was periodically burning itself. Nothing complex could establish long-term habitats in a world where the surface ignited without warning. Above 25% oxygen, complex land-based civilization is physically impossible. The surface of the planet becomes a fire hazard that resets itself faster than intelligence can develop. We exist inside a 10 percentage point window between 15% and 20% in a universe where the possible range of atmospheric compositions is effectively infinite. But it gets more precise than that. Within this window, 20.9% is not just functional, it is optimal. At this exact concentration, oxygen diffuses into human blood at precisely the rate required to sustain aerobic cellular respiration in tissue that is up to 100 micrometers from the nearest capillary. Move meaningfully above or below this value and cellular oxygen delivery efficiency drops. Human athletic performance, cognitive function, and wound healing are all calibrated to this precise atmospheric ratio. At 20.9%, fire is controllable, sustainable, useful. It burns hot enough to smelt iron at 1,538 degrees Celsius. It burns hot enough to fire pottery. It burns hot enough to power an industrial revolution, but it does not burn uncontrollably. The number that makes your civilization possible is the same number that makes your biology optimal. That overlap is not guaranteed by physics. It is an extraordinary coincidence, or something more unsettling than a coincidence. Here is what should genuinely disturb you. This window does not maintain itself passively. It is actively regulated by life itself. Photosynthetic organisms, plants, algae, cyanobacteria, produce oxygen as a byproduct of splitting water molecules using solar energy. Every second, the biosphere releases approximately 430 billion kilograms of oxygen into the atmosphere annually. Simultaneously, aerobic respiration, the metabolic process happening in every animal cell, every fungal cell, every aerobic bacterium on the planet, including every cell in your body right now, consumes oxygen at a rate that precisely balances production over geological time. This is not a coincidence of two independent processes happening to cancel out. This is a coupled biological feedback system of staggering complexity, a living regulation mechanism involving trillions of organisms across every continent and ocean, all metabolizing simultaneously, collectively maintaining an atmospheric composition to within fractions of a percent. The Gaia hypothesis, proposed by scientist James Lovelock in 1972, formalized this idea that Earth's biosphere functions as a single self-regulating system. The oxygen concentration is not just a feature of the biosphere, it is actively produced and maintained by it. You are not breathing air, you are breathing the metabolic exhaust of 3.5 billion years of biological activity, precisely balanced by trillions of living systems working in concert without coordination, without awareness, without intention. This window was not always open. For the first 2 billion years of Earth's 4.5 billion year history, there was essentially zero free oxygen in the atmosphere. The early Earth breathed methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide. The surface was hostile to every form of life that depends on oxygen. Complex animals, anything with more than a few cells, could not have survived. Then approximately 2.4 billion years ago, something happened that changed everything. Cyanobacteria, microscopic photosynthetic organisms in the shallow oceans, began producing oxygen as a waste product of their metabolism in quantities large enough to begin accumulating in the atmosphere. This event is called the Great Oxidation Event, and from the perspective of the organisms that existed at the time, it was the single greatest extinction catastrophe in Earth's history. Oxygen was toxic to the anaerobic life that dominated the planet. The Great Oxidation Event poisoned the existing biosphere and replaced it with an entirely new one. It took another 2 billion years, a span of time twice the entire current age of complex animal life, for oxygen to accumulate to the 15% threshold where complex multicellular animal life became possible. The window opened slowly over a geological timescale that makes all of human history look like the final millisecond of a year-long documentary. Here is the part that almost no one talks about. The oxygen window will close permanently, and the timeline is closer than most people find comfortable. The sun is gradually increasing in luminosity at a rate of approximately 1% per 100 million years. As solar energy input increases, silicate weathering, the geological process that removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, accelerates. Within approximately 600 million years, carbon dioxide concentrations will fall below the threshold required for C3 photosynthesis, the metabolic pathway used by the majority of plant species on Earth. Plants die, oxygen production collapses, the window closes, and it will not reopen. 600 million years sounds like an unimaginable span of time, but complex animal life has existed on Earth for only 540 million years. We are already at the far end of the window. The window has been open for its expected duration, and it is beginning its slow, final closure. We exist not just inside the oxygen window spatially, we exist inside it temporally. In the narrow slice of Earth's history, when the window is fully open, the sun is the right brightness, the biosphere is intact, and the chemistry is right. In cosmic terms, we arrived at the last possible moment, and we are already watching the door. What this means for life elsewhere. The oxygen window is not just a fact about Earth. It is a filter, a brutal planetary requirement for complex life anywhere in the universe. For a planet to develop breathable oxygen, it needs photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, it needs liquid water, the right spectrum of stellar radiation, and a star stable enough not to sterilize the surface during the 2 billion-year accumulation period. It needs to avoid being struck by a planet-sterilizing impactor during those 2 billion years. It needs to maintain the right surface temperature throughout the entire accumulation period. It needs to develop the biological feedback mechanisms that regulate oxygen once it reaches breathable concentrations. Every one of these requirements is independently improbable. Combined, they suggest that worlds with breathable oxygen atmospheres are extraordinarily rare, possibly unique in the observable universe. When we point our telescopes at exoplanet atmospheres and look for biosignatures, oxygen is the signal we are most desperately searching for. We have found none. Across the billions of planets in the galaxy, we have confirmed 0 worlds with the atmospheric signature of the oxygen window. That silence is not nothing. That silence is a data point, and it points in a direction that should make every breath you take feel like the rarest luxury in the known universe. 20.9%. That is the number between you and a world where fire does not work. Between you and a world that burns itself clean. Between your brain and the caloric ceiling that keeps intelligence locked inside a skull too small to think its way to civilization. That number is held open by cyanobacteria, by rainforests, by ocean phytoplankton, by the metabolic activity of more living organisms than there are stars in the observable universe, all breathing in and out, in perfect aggregate balance. Knock out the phytoplankton alone, which currently produces approximately 50% of Earth's atmospheric oxygen, and the window begins to close within thousands of years. We are not separate from the system that holds this window open. We are part of it, and right now, we are the only part of it with the intelligence to understand what it is, and the capacity to damage it faster than the feedback mechanisms can compensate. So here is the question you should carry with you when you step outside today and take a breath of 20.9% oxygen. If this window is this improbable, this precisely maintained, this temporary, and this fragile, what exactly is our responsibility to it? Drop your answer in the comments, because this is one of the few questions where the answer actually matters. And if this changed the way you see the air around you, subscribe right now. Every week we go deeper into the science of the world beneath the world, the invisible systems, the improbable numbers, and the extraordinary facts that nobody tells you, but everyone deserves to know.